You are born screaming into a world that has already decided what you are worth. The year is somewhere around 480 BCE, and the moment you slide, wet and furious, into the torchlit air of Laconia, a group of old men you will never remember are already on their way to look at you. Not at your face, not at your eyes, at your legs, your chest, the symmetry of your limbs. They are the Gerusia, the elders, and they are conducting an inspection that you, a creature of approximately 4 hours, have absolutely no say in. If they find you adequate, you live. If they find you insufficient, they leave you on the slopes of Mount Apothety. And this video ends very quickly. Congratulations, you passed. Barely. One of the elders noted that your left arm trembled a little. He marked it down. He is going to remember that arm for the rest of your life, and you are going to spend the next 6 decades trying to make him forget it. Welcome to Sparta. You didn't choose this. Nobody chooses this. That is, in fact, the entire point. Your first 7 years are, by Spartan standards, almost gentle. Your mother, whose name you will one day struggle to recall because sentiment is a luxury taxed at the rate of everything you have, nurses you on rough barley, gruel, and something approaching affection. She does not hold you too long. She has been told not to. She bathes you in wine instead of water, an old practice meant to test your constitution, and when you do not convulse and die as weaker infants supposedly do, she allows herself one small, private exhale of relief. Your father is a soldier. He is always a soldier. He smells of iron and olive oil and the specific musk of a man who sleeps communally in a barracks and has done so since he was your age. When he visits, he looks at you the way a craftsman inspects raw material, not unkindly, but professionally. He is already imagining what you will become. You are already becoming it, whether you like it or not. By age 7, the gentleness ends with the clean efficiency of a door being shut. The morning they take you to the agoge is cold in the particular way that Greek mountain air is cold. Not the wet cold of northern places, but a sharp, bone-specific cold that finds the gaps in your thin wool kitten and settles there like a debt. You are handed over to an Iron, a 20-year-old boy who is essentially your new god, your new father, your new nightmare. His name is something like Dorius, and he has the flat, measuring eyes of someone who was broken at your age and found the experience clarifying. He looks at you. He looks at the group of 20 boys standing with you, all of you clutching nothing because you have been permitted to bring nothing. You are soft. He says, without malice, the way a sculptor might say a piece of marble is unfinished. We will fix that. The agoge smells like dust and boys and blood and the specific sourness of the black broth melazomos that is your primary caloric reality for the next several years. It is a soup made from pork, blood, salt, and vinegar. And the first time you eat it, you are convinced it is some form of punishment. It is not a punishment, it is breakfast. It is also lunch. The Spartan diet is designed not to nourish you, but to make you perpetually, motivationally hungry, on the theory that a hungry soldier is a resourceful soldier. What this means in practice is that you spend a significant portion of your childhood stealing food from kitchens, from each other, from the farms of perioikoi, the non-citizen neighbors who live in the Laconian countryside and have learned to lock their root cellars in September when the agoge boys get desperate. If you are caught stealing, you are beaten not for the theft, which is considered a useful skill, but for being clumsy enough to get caught. You learn to move without sound. Your feet develop a preternatural sensitivity to gravel. You will never again in your life step on a dry twig. This is what mastery costs. By age 12, you can sleep on a bed of river reeds you cut yourself. By 14, your feet have hardened into something approximating leather. The Laconian summers have burned you the color of old wood, and your hands, which once trembled slightly the elder was right, he was always right, are now steady as architecture. They beat the trembling out of you somewhere around age 11. You do not remember the specific day. The body, mercifully, archives its worst memories in a language it does not share with the conscious mind. At 17 comes the crypteia, and here the video pauses, because what happens during the crypteia is the thing Sparta does not discuss in polite company, and Sparta does not have polite company. You are sent into the countryside, alone, with a knife and nothing else, and you are told to survive the winter. What is not officially stated but universally understood is that the helots, the enslaved underclass who farm Spartan land and upon whose labor the entire military leisure of your class depends, are targets, not legally, never legally. But the Crypteia is, among other things, a terror campaign in pastoral clothing, and you come back from it changed in a way that the elders intended, and that you will spend the rest of your life not quite examining. You were alone in the dark for months. You made choices. The knife has a different weight now. So do you. You graduate the Agoge at 20. The graduation ceremony is not lavish. There is no feast, no garland, no weeping mother pressing her face into your neck. There is a brief acknowledgement, an assignment to your secession, the communal mess you will eat with for the next 40 years, and then a meal of that same black broth. You eat it without flinching now. That, they tell you, is the point. Your 20s are the physical peak of your life, and they arrive with the specific cruelty of peaks everywhere. You do not know you are at the top until you are already on the way down. You are a hoplite now, a spearman in the phalanx, and the phalanx is one of humanity's great collective inventions and also one of its most psychologically specific forms of torture. You stand with your shield locked against the shield of the man beside you, his sweat already on your arm, your breath hot in your helmet, and you push. That is it. That is the battle. You push, and the men across from you push back, and the man directly in front of you is trying to push a spear through the gap in your armor, and somewhere behind you is a flute player, an actual flute player keeping time. Because Sparta deploys flutists in battle to regulate the pace of the advance, which is either deeply civilized or deeply insane depending on your current relationship with incoming spear points. The sound of a phalanx engagement is nothing like what you imagined. There is no heroic clash. There is a grinding, a grunting, a wet percussion. The smell is bronze and blood and opened intestines and the particular ammonia reek of men who have voided themselves in fear, which is most men, which includes you. Once, in your first engagement, a fact you have told no one and will take to the grave without significant difficulty. You fight at Thermopylae, or somewhere like it. You fight at Plataea. The specific battles change across the decades, but the sensation does not. The weight of the Aspis shield growing across hours until it is no longer an object you are holding, but a geological formation attached to your arm. Your shoulder, by age 35, has developed a specific, nagging ache that arrives with cold weather and stays like an uninvited house guest. You learn to fight through it. You learn to ignore it. You add it to the archive. Your marriage, such as it is, occurs in a ceremony you attend briefly, in darkness, and then return to barracks. Spartan marriage is less a domestic arrangement than a scheduled agricultural event. You see your wife on approved visits. She is formidable. She has been raised to be formidable. She runs the estate, the finances, the helots. The grain stores everything you have theoretically earned but have no practical knowledge of managing because you have spent 30 years learning exclusively how to kill people in close formation. She regards you with a respect that contains, you suspect, a faint and reasonable contempt. Your children know her voice. They know yours from visitation. This is not bitterness. This is just the geometry of the life. By 50, the left arm, the elder noted, is speaking to you constantly. Not the trembling, now the opposite. A thick, bone-deep stiffness that makes mornings into negotiations. Your knees have opinions about stairs. Your hearing in the left ear, the ear that spent 40 years facing the enemy, has developed a permanent, low-pitched ring like a bronze bowl struck once and never allowed to stop. Younger men look at you with the specific calculation of men who are waiting. You see it. You saw it in their faces when you were young and aimed it at older men yourself. The wheel of this is almost funny if you stand far enough back. You are elected to the Gerousia at 60. Those same elders who once appraised you as a shivering infant. You sit in judgment now of bodies like yours was. You do the arithmetic of a child's arm and decide what it means for a life. The first time you do this, something in you registers an objection that you have no language for, because Sparta did not give you language for it. So you mark it down. You continue. Your last winter comes quietly, the way Spartan endings tend to, without theater, without ceremony, without anyone making a speech. There is broth. There is the sound of younger men training in the courtyard below, their feet on stone, their breathing hard and regular as hammers. You listen to it for a long time. It sounds honestly like the first morning of the Agoj. That cold air, that flat-eyed iron, the door shutting. You were made for this. That was always the problem. You were made for it, designed, refined, perfected, the way a tool is perfected, and a perfect tool has no existence outside its function. But you are very, very good at it. And in the end, that is a true thing about you, even if it is not quite enough.